Good evening. Notice of a public meeting of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act notice is hereby given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 12 of the Charter of said city, will convene an executive session and a regular meeting on Tuesday, March the 19th, 2019 at 5:40 p.m. and at 6 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of Brownsville City Hall, Old Federal Building, located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas. We will begin with executive sessions. Executive Session A, discussion pursuant to Section 551.072 of the Texas Government Code to deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Executive Session B, consultation with attorney pursuant to Section 551.0712 of the Texas Government Code on a matter in which the duty of the attorney to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with this chapter.
Mayor, I move we go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yes. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, one indivisible.
Let's pray. Father God, we thank you for the many blessings here in Brownsville. And Lord, today we thank you for the rain that we are receiving in moderation. And Lord, we lift up those up north that are dealing with extreme flooding. We ask you to lead and guide their leaders, lead and guide their neighbors and friends in helping them. And Lord, we ask you to bring them back to a place of normality. And Lord God, we ask you to lead and guide our mayor and our city commissioners here tonight and everyone that is presenting anything. Lead and guide each of us for the best for the city of Brownsville. In the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Next, we have the mayor's activity update.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner's activity update.
I have one. The ride with the commissioner scheduled for last Saturday or Saturday before last got canceled, so it's rescheduled for March 30th. Want to invite everybody out there. We're gonna get together around 8 o'clock at the Quonset Hut on 6th Street and Ringgold. So hopefully we'll see some of you out there with your bikes. There's 40 bikes there for first come, first serve. So hope to see you there.
Okay, yeah, our weather's been kind of interesting.
Weather permitting.
No, but Pastor, we pray for it, okay? All right,
Anyone
city
else?
manager's update?
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, just a few updates. The first one being that as part of the airport project, Amelia Earhart Drive and Minnesota Avenue will become a one-way road starting Monday, March 25th. The construction will continue, and what we're asking motorists to do is to take the South Padre Island International Airport by proceeding through the detour that begins at Jose Colunga Boulevard, taking the left on Morningside Road and a left on Norton Road, then left on Minnesota. No through traffic will be permitted. I know that's a lot. We'll put it out in a better fashion through communications. Also, on the 1st of April, we'll be closed for Cesar Chavez Day. On that same day at Market Square, we'll have our kickoff for the Census Day 2020. And what that does, it marks the 1-year pre-anniversary, so to speak. So we're celebrating the date that will mark the Census Day in 2020, 1 year in advance. We'll have different activities out in Market Square, but primarily awareness and information and education for the community to understand the benefit and the importance of us all being counted here in Brownsville. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Noel. Proclamation.
Next, we have the proclamation for the Jubilee Academy.
Yeah, why don't you all go ahead, please sit up there? How are y'all doing? Good, good, good.
Welcome.
There you go. Y'all can fit in. Kind of turn sideways. We'll be good. Okay. Joel, Commissioner? Yeah.
You guys ready? A proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, recognizing and honoring Jubilee Brownsville Lady Titans varsity girls basketball team. Whereas Jubilee Brownsville was established in 2014 and is located at 4955 Pablo Quisel Boulevard in Brownsville, Texas. Jubilee Brownsville's mission is to provide a nurturing community focused on leadership and educational excellence. Whereas the Jubilee Brownsville varsity girls basketball team includes Cynthia Marroquin, Elise Fort, Catherine Vasquez, Clarissa Cisneros, Alexis Robinson, Julissa Garza, Montserrat Aquino, Galilea Martinez, Paola Barrera, Jasmine Gracia, Paola Vargas, Mariana Espinosa, Jacqueline Cavazos, and team manager Leslie Barrera. The team is led by Victor Venegas, Ashley Benavides, and Javier Gonzalez. Whereas athletic activities have a profound impact on students and their communities by providing opportunities to build relationships, learn new skills, and disciplines as they come together and defeat and celebrate wins. And whereas the Jubilee Brownsville Lady Titans varsity girls basketball team bested Keller International Leadership of Texas High School 43-27 to become the TCSAAL state champions on Saturday, February 9th, 2019 at the Corbin Robertson Center in Georgetown, Texas. The Lady Titans concluded the season with a 22-9 overall record and a third consecutive undefeated district championship. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of said city, and on behalf of all our citizens, do hereby recognize and honor Jubilee Brownsville Lady Titans varsity girls basketball team, and further encourage our residents to celebrate and honor these student athletes and their parents on their accomplishment. Done on this, the 19th day of March, 2019. Congratulations to all.
One more picture over there, girls. Yeah. There you go.
There we go. Right here, ready? Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Good job. Yeah.
Good evening, City Commission. First of all, I would like to thank the City Commission for this proclamation. Thank you very much for your acknowledgement of our charter school here in Brownsville, and I think this is just evidence and a great accolade for our team that shows unity, that shows that this championship represents that they work together, and I think that in a team like this, that is what made them excel, and I think that in any situation that once we come together, championships happen and wins happen. So thank you very much for this acknowledgement.
Congratulations.
Next, we have presentations. Texas Department of Transportation Boca Chica Median Project.
Honorable Commissioners, Mr. Javier Martinez and Homer Bazan with TxDOT will be presenting on the Boca Chica Median Project. You want to welcome them?
Mayor, Commissioners, first of all, thank you for having us. My name is Homer Basan. For the record, I'm with the TxDOT FAR District. And before I introduce our project manager, I'd like to give a brief overview of the major items that have been accomplished since our July 2018 public meeting when we met here with the public. The first thing I'd like to mention is that since that public meeting in July, we had a consultant hired, and we did a traffic study for this Boca Chica SH-48 project. And this consultant helped us out primarily with the signal timing and also helped us with median openings, where to place the median openings. Another thing that we did as a result of public involvement from the public meeting is we basically extended the project to Palm Boulevard. Palm Boulevard is in very close proximity, as you all know, to the interstate, to I-69E. So we extended our study, our project, to include Palm Boulevard. The other thing that we've done since July of last year, the median openings, we added a median opening at North Street. Back then in July, it was closed off by the median completely. We added a directional median openings to allow left turns and U-turns at North Street, which is between Simpson and Old Port Isabel Road. And also at Strawberry Square, at the July meeting, we showed it as completely blocked off with the median. And since that time, we're working with our consultant. What we decided to do was have it remain open with the signal. And that was also partially because of public comments. There's a future hike and bike that will be running there in the future. And so we want the pedestrians using the hike and bike there to use the Strawberry Square signal. It'll be the safest place for them to cross Boca Chica. The other major thing that we did, partially because of public involvement, is we synchronized all the signals. All the signals right now on Boca Chica are not timed together. By us synchronizing them, it's going to help out operations and the traffic flow significantly. So that's something else we're doing through our consultant that we hired. And the other thing we did is we're going to be improving a lot of the traffic signals that are there. We're going to be replacing them, the majority of them. We're putting new traffic signal controllers and new signal hardware, basically replacing some of the older signals there. And that also should make the operational flow of Boca Chica be a lot smoother, you know, with this. At this time, these are just the basic improvements that we've done or changes that we've done since the July public meeting. At this time, I'd like to introduce Javier Martinez. He's our project manager here with TxDOT, and he'll give you a more detailed description of the project.
Good evening. As Homer mentioned, my name is Javier Martinez. I'm with Texas Department of Transportation, and I'm the project manager for State Highway 48. So, State Highway 48. The map on the screen shows the general area for this project, which begins at I-69E and runs east to State Highway 4. The project length is approximately 1.5 miles. This project is in the city of Brownsville in Cameron County. This project consists of constructing a raised median, sidewalks, and provide signal synchronization. No right-of-way will be needed. Total estimated construction cost of the project is $3.03 million, and the letting date is, and it's estimated, or it's not estimated, it's set to let in April 2019. Improved safety is one of the benefits of a raised median. For the 8-year period beginning January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2017, there were 1,489 crashes on State Highway 48 between I-69E and State Highway 4. A breakdown of the crashes by year is provided in the screen. Both the total numbers of crashes and the average daily traffic have been relatively stable in the corridor, with crashes averaging 186 per year, and a daily traffic averaging 36,000 vehicles per day between 2010 to 2017. On this segment, crash rates are 3 to 6 times the statewide average for state highways. Of the total 1,489 crashes occurring on State Highway 48 between 2010 and 2017, 394, or 26%, were centerline crashes. These crashes tend to be more severe head-on, right angle, and turning angle crashes, and would be potentially eliminated by a raised median between signalized intersections. Year by year, totals for centerline crashes along State Highway 48 are shown on the chart. On average, 49 crashes per year, that's 26% of crashes, could be prevented with the implementation of a raised median. The proposed project consists of constructing a raised median and sidewalks. The median will be installed in place of the existing continuous left turn lane. The width of the median will be 11 feet, with the median narrowing down to 2 feet at the intersection. The 6 11-foot travel lanes will remain in place. This project will also consist of full median, of full width, and an inch and a half of overlay of asphalt concrete pavement. All the work will be done within the existing right-of-way, with 5 proposed intersections being widened by 5.5 feet to accommodate U-turns by passenger vehicles. These 5 intersections are FM 1847, Old Port Isabel Road, Brownsville Plaza, Kings Highway, and Security Drive. These 5 intersections will have a full median opening. One directional opening will be constructed at the intersection of State Highway 48 and North Street. Existing traffic signals at Simpson Street and Los Amigos Plaza intersections are being proposed to be removed to improve mobility throughout the corridor. The raised median will be proposed across these intersections. The slide on the screen shows the raised median section on FM 802. Which is similar to the one being proposed on State Highway 48. FM 802 has been a major success since a raised median was installed. The general public states that it has been operating extremely well since the raised median was introduced. The number of crashes have been reduced from 111 to 63 per year, a reduction of 57%. A traffic study was conducted for us by KBH Traffic Engineering Firm to compare the existing 2-way left turn lane to the planned raised median roadway improvement project and evaluate the study corridor, including improving signal timing from Palm Boulevard to State Highway 4. Benefits of the project for this corridor are both qualitative and quantitative. Qualitative benefits include aesthetics, quality of life, and improving safety for drivers and pedestrians due to the reduction in conflict points and other geometric improvements. Quantitative benefits are improved traffic operations and reduction in crash costs and vehicle emissions. The traffic study states that a 2-way left turn lane allows unrestricted access to all drivers, and as traffic volumes and access density increase, so does crash risks. Studies have shown that more than 70% of crashes at driveways involve left turns. A raised median will not only eliminate 70% of the crashes at driveways, but will also improve the additional refuge area for pedestrians. Additionally, studies have shown that implementation of a raised median can reduce delay by up to 30% and increase the capacity of the roadway by up to 30%. After the construction project is completed, the new traffic plans will be deployed to provide a better vehicular travel coordination and flow. This type of improvement is most cost-effective and results in improving traffic movement and increased safety. According to the Institute of Transportation Engineers study, comprehensive signal retiming projects have resulted in 7 to 13% reduction in travel time, 15 to 37% reduction in delay, and 6 to 9% in fuel savings. The next step for this proposed project is to let in April 2019. Environmental was cleared in January 2019, and and plans were also finalized in January 2019. Once the project lets, we anticipate construction starting in July 2019 and taking approximately 14 months for completion. As Homer was abbreviated here with the public meeting, following up on the public meeting, based on the public involvement, there was a request for a traffic study. We did get a consultant for the traffic study to include the timing, signal and synchronization from Palm Boulevard to State Highway 4. With this, we also got some recommendations as far as median openings. Median openings were placed at the locations as suggested by our study. So signal synchronization will be at the intersections from Palm Boulevard to State Highway 4. This would improve the mobility through the corridor. Some of the traffic signals improvements will be at the existing intersections where they're going to be replaced with new traffic poles, implement a pedestrian signal for pedestrians at every crosswalk. This concludes my presentation for State Highway 48.
I'm so sorry. I do have a question. Oh, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to thank you for all of the work that you've done. As the representative and district commissioner for this area, I can tell you that the traffic along Boca Chica and the synchronization has to be the one complaint that I hear the most about here at the city. Why do I have to spend 15 minutes just to get to the expressway? And so I'm so grateful that TxDOT has taken the initiative and the time, because this really impacts a lot of people, and that's 10 minutes that they can be spending with their family, 10 minutes that they can be spending productive and not in traffic. And the introduction of the medians, I see the crashes daily coming out of home and whatnot. And so to implement this safety feature into this main artery of our community is going to be a tremendous asset. And I just want to thank you for all of the work that you've put into this. I know how long this has been in the process. And we're just so grateful for all of the things that you've done in my area, from adding traffic lights on Minnesota. And I don't know if it's the right time to ask, but for Christmas, maybe you can synchronize Ruben Torres, because that's another one that's very hard. And I encourage you to travel it between the hours of 4 and 6 p.m. It's one of the most congested areas, and it's very hard to hit light after light after light after light. So I'm relieved to see Boca Chica being fixed, but I hope sometime in the future we can work on that on Ruben Torres.
Thank you. And as far as Ruben Torres FM 802, that is in its works to increase the widen the 802 to the inside and provide an additional lane. And this will be something as well as synchronization on the signals. So.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you for your work, and I believe thanks to the Brownsville Beautification Committee, we'll be able to add plants and greenery in the mediums that you will build, so thank you to them as well. Particularly, I'm interested in the intersection of the Battlefield Trail at the highway and Boca Chica, and what do you have planned for that?
At what location? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Boca Chica and the freeway.
Okay.
Where the Battlefield Trail crosses.
Okay, yes.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So what do you have planned for that intersection?
So in that intersection, we do have the schematic available for viewing if you wish to view it. We are putting a raised median at the east of the freeway, and we're adding a crosswalk as well as striping to allow pedestrians crossing from the trail to one trail to the other. And this project does consist of adding sidewalks or replacing the existing sidewalks from I-69E all the way to State Highway 4.
Okay, and I'd like to see that schematic, not necessarily now.
Okay.
But my point is that it's very dangerous to cross that intersection if you're running, walking, or riding a bike. So it was my understanding that this project was going to improve the safety of walkers, joggers, and bicyclists as they cross Boca Chica on the Battlefield Trail, and that's what I'm asking.
Okay.
I have one. We were informed recently that there may be a reconfiguration of the Palm Boulevard, Boca Chica area. So I don't know if y'all are aware of that, but I would just ask that you consult with the city manager on, because you're extending it to Palm Boulevard. So there's some plans, from what I understand, about that intersection. So you can be up to date on that.
Okay.
And Javier and Homer, I think what Commissioner Gowan, there is that concern, and I think that I think you all have done some other studies and done some other ways of being a little bit more protective on that Battlefield Trail. And I think everybody here knows about that. It just happens to be right there, right by the expressway. So take a look at it, and we have an MPO meeting tomorrow. Maybe we can get something that we can disseminate to all the commissioners.
We bundled our TAP dollars into one project to improve the crossings at the trail. And so I was told that that particular intersection of the trail was taken out of that TAP funding because the median project was going to take care of it. So that's what I'm asking, to see if you could email me or city manager that diagram so that we can see it.
Okay.
And thank you all so much.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thank you.
Because this is going to save, maybe even lives with the changes that you're making. So thank you so much. We really are grateful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next item.
Next, we have the presentation from Texas Monthly.
Mayor and Commissioners, just a brief intro as they walk up here. I sent you all an email about maybe now a few weeks. It's been a month, I think. So we're excited. Let me first be excited about this. We don't have a major marketing, branding campaign out there for the city per se, but we have had some opportunities fall in our lap, so to speak. This one, not so much. We had to fight for this and really put ourselves out there in terms of helping Brownsville get on the map. And Texas Monthly, as you all know, is a major brand in Texas. What we have is, and I'll let them do the talking, is an opportunity to really showcase what is happening in Brownsville, who Brownsville is at the state and national and beyond levels because of the platform that Texas Monthly provides us. I'll let them talk more about a particular edition that's going to come out this summer, but also a particular event that we will be hosting this summer.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. We're so excited to be here. My name is Courtney Spence. I'm of the C. Spence Group. We are a communications and marketing consulting firm, and I first came to know and love Brownsville through meeting the mayor at the U.S. Conference of Mayors last June. He pulled me aside and in 20 minutes described everything that was happening in the city, and I immediately said I have to come visit. And so I did, and spent about 36 hours here. Fell in love with the community, saw all of the exciting things that are happening here, and then it was about a week later that I happened to be sitting down with Tim at Texas Monthly, and I was there on another subject matter, but I quickly turned to the topic of the conversation of Brownsville and what was happening here, and from there really began the conversations around what can we do with Texas Monthly and bringing them here to be more involved in the community. I then met Noel, I think his second day on the job, talked about this opportunity, and through conversations and further exploration, it really felt like this was the right time for Brownsville to host Texas Monthly Live, which is a really exciting event. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tim to give you a bit more background on the event itself.
Hi, everybody. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners,
Tim.
Thank you for having us. My name is Tim Taliaferro. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at Texas Monthly. And what that means is I'm focused on figuring out cool new ways to take the magazine and bring it to life in different ways. Texas Monthly Live, which we're going to show you a little bit of video of just to kind of pique your interest, is one of these innovations. It's a live event. It's 90 minutes. It's performed in front of a live audience. And it's taking the stories that you're used to reading in the magazine and bringing them to life on the stage with the storytellers there, with a huge screen behind them for photos and video, and live music that's scored to the particular stories. So it's a very cinematic, very memorable experience. I'll just show you this really quickly, and then we'll stick around for any questions that you might have.
show was awesome. I don't know if I can cuss on here or not, but I'd say it's badass.
I have discovered through this campaign and as being an ambassador another level of Texan I didn't quite know I had.
I'm Daniel Vaughn. I'm the barbecue editor at Texas Monthly. I'm probably one of the only people in the country who gets to legitimately expense their cholesterol medication on their taxes.
The way of life out there wasn't created by humans, but rather the weather, the animals, and the sun.
Yeah, Sasquatch, but you know, Mexican.
And then we will be asking our local vehicle dealer, how do I get a plasma rocket and get out of here?
It's a story that seems almost impossible to believe.
This is Borges on firing line with William F. Buckley in 1977.
My mission as the Texanist is to help well-intentioned Texans and the occasional Californian.
Through her words, I experienced once again a mother's love for her child.
So for the rest of your life, I want you to remember the greatest rock song of all time was produced by a jazz nerd from Waco.
What I really loved about it the most was how heartfelt it was. It wasn't anything that I expected, but I was amazed.
When are you going to do the next one?
So that was a recap of the first and only one of these we've done. That was from last year. This year will be season 2. It's a completely new show. The show will go again in Austin. Then it's going to travel to Houston, Brownsville, Dallas, and San Antonio. Each show is a little bit different. And so part of what Courtney and I and some members of my team are doing yesterday and today is spending additional time here in Brownsville getting to know some of the people, start to do some careful, in-depth research on some of the interesting things that are happening here. And I have to tell you, already, this is my second trip to Brownsville, we feel a little overwhelmed. There's so much really amazing, interesting stuff happening. I am persuaded that this is one of the most interesting cities in Texas right now. So we have no shortage, but that's a good problem. So we're really focused on the show being something that feels of Brownsville. Not the entire show will not just be Brownsville stories. There will be some stories that are from other parts of Texas. It is Texas Monthly Live. But we expect to have probably 2 shows that are specific to the Brownsville performance. And then we are also working on a special feature in the magazine that will be, I believe, in the August issue, that is a broader celebration of the border and the border culture. And that is intended in part to be rebordative to some of the national narrative that portrays the border of Texas as being something that it is plainly not. So with that, I'll take some questions from you guys, or Courtney will as well.
Anybody got any questions?
All I have to say is I'm so excited. Thank you for bringing this to our city.
If you can put them in contact, if they haven't already, with the Film Commission, people involved with that, so they might be able to give you assistance with local. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, Tim and Courtney, thank you. I'm glad you're excited about Brownsville. We're excited about Texas Monthly. So
We'll mark July 9th down.
Okay.
Okay,
All
mark
right.
it down.
See you then.
Okay.
Take care.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All. Appreciate it.
Next, we have consent agenda items A through G.
Would you approve?
Second?
I have an amendment. I'd like to make a floor amendment to item D, which, in the consent agenda. The amendment being the addition of section 38-69, which would read as follows. Section 38-69 entitled Subsequent Employment. A person who is a former member of the City Commission shall not be employed by the city or any other entity of the city for a period of 1 year after the termination of his official duties, and then leaving sections 38-70 to 38-95 reserved for future expansions of the chapter. So
Used
that's
to be
my-
18 months, are you changing it to 12?
No, it was 12.
It was 18. I know because I was in the committee.
I believe this is a new addition to Chapter 38. The other one, it's representation of the city. This is employment by the city, so it's a different chapter. in a
And
different
what's the
section.
amount of time on section 67?
On the new addition is going to be 1 year. On the
What-
other one, it used to be 12 months as well. I
It
mean,
was
I
also
could-
12 months.
I believe so, yes. I can double check that, Commissioner, but I think that this new addition mirrors the language in the other section as well.
On time, right?
Correct.
Yes. So that's my amendment.
Second?
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Now, I
Can-
think
can I
that
get a
was
show of
that would
hands?
be the consent item number D as amended. Now, I think we have to take E, F, and G as the consent items.
Correct.
She's asking
Yes,
for,
but I'm asking, so, because I didn't hear everybody over there on the side.
I vote aye.
I think everybody voted aye. and-
Well,
Yeah,
I'll vote aye.
yeah.
oh, okay. Right.
It's unanimous.
Yes, now I got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, now I've got a motion and a second on E, F, and G, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Now we go to public hearings number 7.
Next, we have the public hearings number 7, public hearing and action on first read on ordinance number 2019-1654 to authorize the city manager to abandon and close a portion of a 20-inch alley adjacent to lots 25 and 26, Brownsville Land and Improvement Company subdivision.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. There's a new commercial development coming to this area, and in order to properly accommodate parking and landscaping, the owner is requesting for the city to abandon a portion of the 24 alley. The alley is not non-developed, is not needed for any public purposes. We have some underground utilities, but we're retaining utility easements, and our department recommends approval.
Okay, is anyone here on this issue? It's a public hearing. If not, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Move to close.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Would you approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item number 8.
Thank you.
Public hearing number 8, public hearing and action on first read on ordinance number 235-2019-004 to rezone from dwelling A DA to dwelling G DG for Lot 19, Block 1, Alamo Heights subdivision located at 1125 Bowie Drive.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and City Commissioners. This property is 0.1446 of an acre. It's currently zoned dwelling A. They're asking it to be rezoned to dwelling G. The purpose is for a duplex. So to the north, there's commercial business and single-family dwelling. To the east, there's single-family dwelling. To the south, single-family dwelling and a civic institution. And to the west, single-family dwelling, apartment, and commercial business. Here's the zoning map. There were 28 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezoning from dwelling A to dwelling G.
Anyone here on this issue? Okay, there we come. Oh, it's a public hearing, so this is the time to speak up. If you come to the podium, please state your name.
It seems like a very small lot.
Hello. Good evening. Isela Cepeda.
Good evening. Amada Lucio.
Good afternoon, Demetrio Garcia.
Okay.
We owners of the property close to this lot.
Get close, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon. So we live in this area for 40 years, and I agree to, there's only families around, and we don't like to put something duplex in this place, start put one duplex, start put another one, and it's quite a place, family, a small neighborhood, so I agree to stay like I would, and hopefully you understand what I say.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Good evening. I'm directly impacted by this as I live right across the street from the property. This is a residential area. It always has been. A lot of the people haven't come by because there are a lot of elderly people that live around the neighborhood. They're not able to come for whatever reason, or they did not understand the language in the letter that's mailed out. You know, quite frankly, I had to ask around, make a couple phone calls. It is a really small lot for a duplex. There's a lot of things that come into mind: trash, cars, how many people are going to be living in these homes, property value, taxes. So I personally would like for it to continue to be residential.
Likewise.
Okay.
Likewise. I mean, if they were to build a home for rent versus a duplex, then that would really be best. But yeah, because it's again, if it starts off like that, we don't know, how it's going to affect us personally. And like he said, we've been there forever. I mean, so again, we would rather it be a single family home versus a duplex.
Well, thank you for coming by. Anyone else? Thank you, guys.
I agree with you. So the size of this lot seems kind of small. Is that?
So with the area district that they're requesting to be changed to, they would be allowed to put a duplex, which would require a minimum of 6,000 square feet. Also, I would like to add that if you take a look right here, this property has a duplex, and adjacent to it, both of these properties are similar size as well, was rezoned to allow a duplex within the last few months as well.
Okay. All right. Is anyone else here on this issue? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Hello, my name is Danely Reina. This is my parents' lot. My mother couldn't come, so she asked me to come. My parents are very clean people. They have a restaurant, and our home is also very clean. Our home has always been admired, and people take pictures of our home. We have become friends with the neighbors. They've been very kind, and they've been very helpful with us. Maybe the people that they say didn't understand. They are nice people. They always come over. They hang out with us. They offer us their tools. So I just wanted to say that they say it's small, but I heard that it is the right size. But I just want to say we do try and stay as clean as possible. And I don't know what else.
You did a good job.
Thank
Don't
you.
worry. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Your mom would be proud. Okay, so we had a motion to close, I think, in a second, if I recall, and that they wanted to one more. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Is that okay? You got the numbers? Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you were closing public hearing, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the public hearing was closed. Now that,
Motion to deny?
second. A motion to deny and a second is on the floor. All those in favor of denying?
Aye.
Is that two? Where you want to have a, yeah, two? Okay. All those opposed? One,
Nay.
two. It's 2-2?
I voted aye for the
Oh,
motion.
to deny? Okay, so it's 2-3, so I guess motion carries to deny. That would be the ruling. Is that correct?
You're the tiebreaker. Well, it locks.
Huh?
If you vote, it locks. Usually it's empty.
No, I mean, I'm just saying it's 3-2, right, to deny?
Yeah.
Okay. So it carries. It will be denied. Item number 9.
Public hearing number 9, public hearing and action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2019-005 to rezone from dwelling G GG to light commercial G, 5CG for Lot 4, Block 1, Portway Acres, first section located at 6640 Padre Island Highway.
This property is 0.4591 of an acre. It's currently zoned dwelling G, and they're asking it to be rezoned to 5th commercial G. The proposed use is for a restaurant, which is existing on site, and it is along Padre Island. To the north, there's undeveloped land as well as municipal facility. To the east, single-family dwelling and directly abutting its commercial business. To the south, there's single-family and some apartments that are a little hard to see right here. And to the west, there's some commercial business. Here's the zoning map. The properties adjacent to it that are currently zoned 5th commercial were rezoned back in 2003. This property is basically a shared part of the retail plaza that's there. There were 19 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from dwelling G, DG, to light commercial G, 5CG.
Okay, is anyone here on this issue?
Would to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
Would approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 10.
Public hearing number 10, public hearing and action on first reading ordinance number 235-2019-006 to rezone from dwelling A, DA to dwelling G, DG for Lot 55, Palomar, Section 3, City of Brownsville, located at 385 Lewis Street.
This property is 0.176 of an acre. It's currently zoned dwelling A. They're asking it to be rezoned to dwelling G to reduce the setbacks, and it's fronting Lewis Street. In all directions, there's going to be single-family dwelling. Here's the zoning map. There were 18 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezoning from dwelling A to dwelling G.
Okay. Anyone here on this issue?
Motion to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 11.
Public hearing number 11, public hearing and action on first reading ordinance number 235-2019-007-S to allow a used car lot, a light commercial 5C use in general retail H, 4CH for Lot 30, Block 9, East Brownsville, in addition to the City of Brownsville, located at 1757 Southmost Boulevard.
This property is 0.1377 of an acre. It's currently zoned 4th commercial, and they're requesting a specific use permit to allow a used car lot. To the north, there's going to be undeveloped land and single-family dwelling. Along southmost, there's going to be commercial business, and to the south, there's going to be a single-family dwelling. Here's the zoning map. Across the street, the lot has been issued a specific use permit for a used car lot, as well as several others in the area. There were 31 mailouts and 0 written opposition. Here's the site plan. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports the specific use permit to allow a used car lot in general retail H, 4CH, with the condition that the property must comply with all city codes and regulations as determined through the site plan review process.
Okay. Is anyone here on this issue?
Would to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Would to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries. Item number 12.
Public hearing number 12, public hearing and action on first reading ordinance number 235-2019-008 to rezone from general retail F, 4CF to general retail G, 4CG for Lot 9, Block 142, original town site located at 925 East Monroe Street.
This property is 0.1377 of an acre. It's currently zoned 4CF. They're requesting 4CG. The next case is for the same property as well, where they're requesting a specific use permit for a duplex. In this area, which you cannot see, right here, there are actually, change color. Right here, there's actually 2 duplex that are currently existing. To the north, there's going to be a single-family dwelling and apartment. To the west, there's going to be apartments and single-family dwelling. And to the south, there's going to be apartments, single-family dwelling, and commercial business and county facilities. Here's the zoning map. There were 38 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezoning from General Retail F, 4CF, to General Retail G, 4CG.
Okay, is anyone here on this issue?
Move to close public hearing?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Move to approve?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Public hearing number 13, public hearing and action on first reading ordinance number 235-2019-008-S to allow a duplex, a dwelling D use in General Retail G 4CG for Lot 9, Block 142, original town site located at 925 East Monroe Street.
This is the same property as the previous case. There were 38 mailouts and 0 written opposition in this case as well. And here is the site plan for the duplex. It follows the same layout as the duplexes nearby. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports a specific use permit to allow a duplex in General Retail G, 4CG, with the condition that the property must comply with all city codes and regulations as determined through the site plan review process.
Anyone here on this issue?
Close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Aye.
Move to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Public hearing number 14, public hearing and action on first read on ordinance number 235-2019-901-CO to rezone from dwelling FDF to dwelling GDG-CO for Sanchez Vela subdivision located near Old Military Road.
This is a city-initiated case involving a little over 20 acres. It's currently zoned dwelling F. We're asking that it be changed to dwelling G with a conditional overlay to prohibit duplex. In all directions around the subdivision, there is undeveloped land and single-family dwelling. Also along Military Highway, there are some commercial business. Here's the zoning map. The area in white is outside of city limits. The area in tan or other color is within city limits. There were 112 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from dwelling F, DF to dwelling G, DG-CO with a conditional overlay to prohibit duplex.
Okay, anyone here on this issue? Okay, come step up.
That's your district. What do you want to do on it?
Yeah, I came because some of the neighbors
Please state
asked me
your
to
name.
come by.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Jose Sanchez.
Jose, nice to
Yes.
have you here.
Hi. I came because some of the neighbors asked me to come by. They were supposed to be here, but they're not. We didn't understand what it was about. Just wanted to state that the information we got, it wasn't enough, I guess, for the neighbors. Most of them speak Spanish, so they couldn't figure out why they were getting that letter. Most of the houses there, I will say 40 houses of the subdivision are housing, and the rest are owned by the people that live there. And they were wondering if the taxes will rise or there was some other changes there. So, that's all I can say right now.
There's a lot of things that people don't understand and don't, and basically it's because they've never been informed.
Yeah.
Este es el medio para venir para que les expliquen, ¿verdad? Entonces, ¿español o inglés?
Yeah, that's the
Both?
same.
Both, okay. If you're over 65 in the city of Brownsville, your taxes are not going to increase. So if they're older people that are above 65, their taxes are frozen. Whatever they pay right now or what they've paid since they were 65, it's not going to increase no matter what builds around them. Okay. Number two, just because they build something new around you doesn't mean that it's gonna pick up your property value.
Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna affect the person, and when that person gets when they file with San Benito with the appraisal district, their taxes are certainly going to be raised because they're bringing in something new to something that was vacant. But it very rarely affects the neighbors around them. It has to be something really big, it has to be something really commercial to come around you, and that the zoning will change. But other than that, you can tell the neighbors that, you know, there's a big misconception of people always thinking that their property value is gonna, if somebody builds next to me, if you build a brand new house next to me, you're gonna affect my property value. That's not true. You know, and that's a misconception that people have had over a long time. You know, so that's, you know.
Yeah, perhaps maybe when you do send out these notices, we put it in English and in Spanish.
We already do.
That's what I thought. But explain what Commissioner Longoria just talked about as a, you know, because I think what happens is most of us can relate to, you know, if it wasn't el tío or el padre que dice, oye, mijo, no sé lo que está diciendo aquí, léemelo. And we've all been there. So it may be a little bit, you know, a little bit more trouble, but it might be worth it for some of those folks to understand the different conditions where your taxes are not going to be raised. The property is appraised by the appraisal district in San Benito, and they're the ones that really control. And unless, again, like Commissioner Longoria says, unless it enhances the property values of the entire area, you're probably not going to be very much affected. But try to work with that, because I think we've heard this over and over again. Y gracias, Jose, for being here.
Maybe we can have a frequently asked questions page that, you know, have a website on the notice, and frequently asked questions, are my taxes going to be raised, and et cetera, and we can direct them to the correct entity.
But you're doing a good job, and we keep increasing all the things, but it's okay. Anyone else here on this issue?
Just to state as well, we do include information on the letter with the Cameron County Appraisal District's contact information, and that they should be contacted for any questions regarding tax.
Yeah.
Excellent.
But again, I think
yes,
just a couple of little, you know, hints from Heloise might be appropriate for the population for some period of your time. So thank you for being here. Anyone else here on this issue? If not, I'll entertain a motion to close.
Would to close public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Would to approve?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item.
Public hearing number 15, public hearing in action on first reading on ordinance number 235-2019-902-CO to rezone from dwelling A, DA, medium retail G, 3CG, general retail G, 4CG, to dwelling G, DG-CO for the Preserve at Forest North subdivision, save and accept block number 7 located near Paredes Line Road.
This property is currently zoned dwelling A, 3CG, and 4CG. This is a city-initiated case. We're requesting it be changed to dwelling G with a conditional overlay. The proposed use is for single-family dwellings. In all directions, to the north, east, and west, there's single-family dwellings. To the south and to the east, there's going to be commercial business as well as some undeveloped land. Here's the zoning map. There were 90 mailouts and 0 written opposition. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission supports this rezone from dwelling A, DA/medium retail G, 3CG/general retail G, 4CG, to dwelling G, DG-CO, with the conditional overlay to establish setbacks in accordance with the approved subdivision.
Anyone here on this issue?
Would to close public hearing?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Move to approve.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Both motions approved. Item number 16.
Thank you.
Next, we have the public comment period. We did have one person sign up, Mr. Fernando Champion.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. So glad to be back. It's been a couple of years. I see you've changed the process regarding public comment. A little difficult, but we figured it out. Either way, I came to talk about public safety. There seems to be I know it's that time of year, accelerate, how can I put this, worsening of the streets. For some reason, I saw yesterday why they're not getting fixed. There were a couple of gentlemen trying to fix a couple of potholes by the intersection, and luckily there were two gentlemen that were doing it with two shovels, and luckily the man was able to turn and saw a car coming that wasn't going to stop. He almost got hit. Luckily, he jumped out of the way, and it looked really bad. I said, I'm really disappointed that a city this old is still doing this way, and it's only two gentlemen. I mean, usually you see construction, these types of fixtures at night. You know, during the day, I mean, they're dodging cars to actually just do their job. The sad part is, you know, well, I don't know how you plan things, but as I've told you a couple of years ago, there's a beginning and there's an end to a street. When you're gonna do a street, do it all. Don't do through 2 or 3 blocks and they get called somewhere else. The other side, cross right, there's just as bad as this side, and it doesn't get fixed. And like I say, this has been going on for years in my district, and I can tell you a couple of, and there's even within a quarter mile of your public works department, right past Gonzales, there's a deep hole. It keeps getting deeper every year. And what, you know, I'm sorry to say, maybe you have a new policy. Sácale la vuelta, just go around it. You know, it's sad, it's very sad. I expect a lot more from y'all. Like I said, I take no pleasure by coming down here. That's why I do not like to come down here. I leave it up to you guys, and I trust you during elections that you're gonna follow up. And for some reason, it always stays the same. Sometimes it gets better, but most of the time it deteriorates into the norm. You know, I guess people don't expect to be like other cities. I show you a perfect example. You do the turnaround coming off the freeway, trying to go to Sunrise Mall. Luckily, one of you mentioned the MPO. Could you please have him fix those 2 potholes right as soon as you get off the freeway? If you're running on frontage, I mean, they're only getting bigger and deeper. That's the sad part of the situation. If you don't get to it, it only gets worse. You know, maybe we can bring it up, because I know that is the city's problem, just like some of the main thoroughfares. I mean, as far as you have saturation, Ruben Torres, and another lane ain't going to help it. As you need to actually have officers push that traffic north, because that's where it goes. And it's not only at noon, it's also at 5, at 8, the busy times. It's always constant, because you have it saturated. It wasn't planned properly. You have just too much traffic. I'm sorry to say, you know. And the only thing else I needed to mention that I needed to come by here, could you please remove the rock from the park? I mean, oh, I'm out of time.
But thank you for coming.
Oh, I'll be back next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bernal, is there a way for someone to make it, bring this up to the city? That there's like pothole or something? Is there 546 help? Isn't that the standard way? Okay.
We'll make note of this also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Noel. Item number 17.
Next, we have items for individual consideration. Action item number 17, consideration action to appoint 1 regular member and 2 alternates to the Building and Standards Commission.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commissioners. So we are here for the appointment of 1 regular member and 2 alternate members for the Building and Standards Commission. I know this board has been brought up to you guys a few times, but hopefully tonight we can finally get it filled. So the qualifications of the members, they cannot be city employees, and they should be qualified in one or more of the following fields: fire prevention, building construction, sanitation, banking, engineering, and health or public safety. And currently, we have 1 regular member vacant and 2 alternate vacancies. And we have 4 applicants.
I'd like to make a motion
to appoint Olga Gonzalez.
Second.
Okay.
As the member.
As a regular member?
Yes.
Second.
And for
Mayor?
2 alternates.
Vote.
All in favor?
Call the vote.
All in favor?
Oh.
Sorry.
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I'll appoint David Diaz as the alternate.
Second?
What was the name? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
David Diaz?
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Anyone more?
One more alternate, yes.
Carlos Martinez?
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Sorry.
think in the 8 years I've been here, I've never seen you do that.
I know.
It's okay, it's okay.
Thank you.
Next, we have action item number 18, consideration and action on resolution number 2019-024 to approve and sign the Texas Water Development Board Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Commission. I'm here to present part of our presentation that we have for the Texas Water Development Board. It's an offshoot of what we presented to y'all last year, and there's a bit of changes that we wanted to definitely make y'all aware of to see what we're kind of bringing to the city. Okay. I'm pressing a few buttons.
Don't press anything, please.
There we go.
There you go. Now you can-
Now we can press? Okay. So, like I mentioned, we presented this to you last year, about a year and a half, but there's some new faces on the commission that I'd like you to run through all of what we have. So stormwater concerns, they kind of touched on them. I want to hear what the public comment with some of the streets, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit more on how flooding and stormwater in general can affect some of our streets, but overall what we're going to be working with to try to remedy some of those issues, including some of the major flooding. So, just wanted to show you a few maps that we have. These are our watersheds, and I'm going to run through them really quick, and please pause me if I'm going to go too fast, but these are the watersheds, and what I like about these maps are you kind of can see, I'm going to point on this side, all those red spots you would think are kind of like high valleys, but in actuality, those are the Saca systems. So our Sacas sit a lot higher than the land around them. So these pictures are courtesy of Jude Benavides from UTRGV, and these arrows really indicate how our water flows. A lot of our waters flow down, and most of them away from the river. So just want to make sure y'all are aware of that and why we have some major issues in our flooding. That most other places in the world, you flow into the river and then the river takes it out. We flow backwards for the most part. So you couple this, the fact that our drainage kind of flows backwards in a negative direction, add our crumbling infrastructure, then similar to this one. This is an RCP pipe that's underneath our street, and it's very similar to some of the other areas. Our public works do a really good job of maintaining that, but at the end of the day, it's such a large system because we are very old and we're broadening every single year. Trying to maintain all of our infrastructure is just, it's not up to where it needs to be at. So, on the left, you'll notice that that's Brownsville. On the right, that's Houston. So what's the difference between the two? We started flooding at 7 inches when they flooded at 30. A lot of our concerns, our issues are very similar to what Houston has. Our topography, the way we built, our pavement structures are extremely similar. And they, with the exception of they flow into the bay, where we have to flow upstream and then out into a bay. So what are we doing to remedy that? We are very fortunate that we've been able to do grants and get funding from different agencies such as GLO, CDBG, through some of our CIP projects to do some major infrastructure. But what you'll notice is that the projects on the left are kind of the oldest projects that we have in recent to date, and you see $1 million on those. What you see on the other side is where we've been trying to work with other partner agencies like Kingsville, Texas A&M Kingsville, BCIC to start funding some of the smaller projects because we just don't have the capital to do large infrastructure projects anymore. And then the most recent ones, you'll notice that the numbers got a little bit smaller. We're trying to be strategic in how we use our funds, but at the end of the day, we're going to get to a point that our infrastructure needs some major overhauls, some big dollar signs. So we bring to you the Texas Water Development Board, which is offering a Clean Water State Revolving Fund. This fund, and you can read through, I'm not going to read through all of that part, but it's a loan, a very low interest rate loan that they're offering, and historically it's been offered to utility boards and Resaca restoration projects. But recently, as of 2 years ago, they offered it to stormwater drainage infrastructure. And we jumped on the bandwagon and said, we want to be one of those showcase cities that can get onto this loan very early on before any other cities start noticing it, because our grants department made us very aware that the grants that are going for stormwater are going up north. We haven't been hit with a major storm to say that we are not worth, but we've been damaged enough to secure these loans. We have hurricanes take any hurricane that we've been hit with. We just got fortunate enough that it went around us. Now this is my fun part. We've been working with a lot of partnering agencies to start doing stormwater collection and data. All the agencies that you see here have actually sat at our table, the City of Brownsville's table, in the past 3 months to try to come together collectively to do stormwater infrastructure projects, including data collection. Part of the money for Texas Water Development Board will include us to do a large underground detention system, although it doesn't look like underground detention, it looks like parks. All 3 of those are detention ponds that will help immediately affect the Four Corners area from flooding. What you don't see is that there's 2 more underground detentions that are connecting the 3 on top. So we'll have a total of 5 detention ponds that are going to be regional detention ponds just for Four Corners to stop flooding. And the other 80% of the year, the city would have it for soccer, splash pads, and a basketball court. I'm sure the parks can come up with some great ideas how to use those other areas. The last part of the funding will be very strategic in how we use it to do some very needed improvements. What you're looking at right now is West Brownsville, and West Brownsville floods fairly quickly. Part of that problem is that the negative flow, I'm not going to be able to draw it too well, I don't think, on this one. Our flow goes that way. And it kind of follows 281 around till it gets to the pumps that I showed you in earlier slides. What we're trying to do is make a bypass for that water to get to our pumps faster, to be more effective. At least you're going to have a red line. And the last portion of that is going to be doing some improvement on some culverts. This is right behind McDonald's, frontage. Lone Star Bank is right there. These are culverts that kind of fell into disrepair because of the amount that it's going to cost per each culvert. The city didn't have the capital to go back and improve those back to where they need to be at. So what we're asking for is a $7 million loan from Texas Water Development Board. It seems like a lot. We've run through finance. We've talked to our city manager. The interest rate for that is at 1.3%.
So the
Yes.
$7 million would cover what areas? Do we know? Is
Yes.
it going to affect each district? Is that only one side of town?
So the first project with $7 million for stormwater only covers about 4 projects, and I'll be realistic with you. The biggest part that I showed you is covering Four Corners area. That's our major source of flooding. West Brownsville and the culverts will improve throughout the Resaca system. Resaca Delegata is the biggest portion, which goes through multiple jurisdictions. So this is only half of the funding that we're going after. Can I go after it? We're going after another $7 million through Section 108, which was used to fund Linear Park, which will address a lot of other major issues, such as Palm Boulevard areas, do some North Main Drain relining, which bisects Brownsville and touches just about everybody's jurisdiction. So we're looking at more of major issues in stormwater first. As we start going into a more yearly improvement, I think then we can start addressing the smaller sections of flooding as opposed to the large grand area. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yes, one of the areas, I don't know, is this an action item? One of the areas that is a big concern of mine is the Oliveda-Egley area. When it rains 4 inches, they have water inside of their schools,
right,
which is unacceptable.
Of course.
And so there's a lot of open land in that area behind Walmart, and it just so happens to run along the main drain. And so if we were to buy that property and make one of those parks and create a retention pond, or is it detention pond, I think it would alleviate all of the flooding in the Land O'Lakes area. So I don't know how expensive that would be, or if that would be one of the projects that you could add into that, but it affects everybody at PUB. It affects every teacher, child, and parent at Oliveda and Egley, and it affects probably about 400 homes that are in the Land O'Lakes area. So I would hope that we could prioritize that, or the commission could look into.
Can I add that part of the Section 108 is to improve one of our largest pumps, which is Impala Pump, and everything flows downstream into that pump system. So one of the major improvement is that portion, as well as lining the North Main Drain basically makes the straw a lot faster to get the water out of that area, specifically in that bottleneck.
Okay.
So we have seen that portion, but of course, adding something that I showed you as far as the park would be a great addition as far as regional detention.
Okay.
And Mayor and Commissioners, just to make a quick point to the question. So typically, when you have local funds that you're working with, you have flexibility. You want to address issues of equity and how you distribute the resources geographically and all that. One of the things that Grants is up here for is that the Water Development Board is competitive. So part of why we have this innovative green project and the selection of the projects, we have to rank high enough to be selected. So while we're asking for money that is subsidized by the state, which is why it's 2 to 3 points below market rate, the other thing is we need to compete with state projects. So that's where, while we may want to be equitable, and that's the right thing to do typically, here we need to approach it from how would we score with the other projects throughout the state too. So that's what also drives our ability to really look at things like equity and geography and things like that. We have to look at the scoring system too.
Okay.
Thank you so much for your expertise.
Thank you.
So you're saying yes? I'm just kidding.
Yes, when we have local discretion, I think that's one of those criteria we have to look at. On this one, though, we do get limited to.
Yeah, no, I
we need to
understand.
go for the home run and try to score highly in how we select projects.
Maybe you could look at that property and see what it costs just to start the ball rolling, because once it's developed into a subdivision, it just adds on to the problem, and it's available, and it's on the drain.
Yeah. I think Commissioner's got a good point. I think, Noel, if you have a chance, to talk to PUB. I think that they're in the process.
PUB can buy it, yeah.
Yeah, is looking at that. Anyway, this is an action item.
To approve.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That was what I was going to add for the resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I read your mind. Okay.
Next is agenda item number 19.
So there was three different items on the same for the Texas Water Development Board?
Yes,
Right.
let me read number 19. Consideration and action on resolution number 2019-025 to approve and sign the Texas Water Development Board Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item number 20, consideration and action on resolution number 2019-026 to approve and sign the Texas Water Development Board Clean Water State Revolving Fund.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 21.
Action item number 21, consideration and action, and I'd like to make a correction. It is an ordinance to amend fiscal year 2019 budget for the general fund and the Brownsville Golf Center Fund.
Let me see if I still, Mayor and Commissioner, see if I still remember how to use this. Just turn it off, I think. There you go. We're bringing you an ordinance consideration. We're mid-year budget. We're in March, so I want to start out with talking about mid-year budget comes, usually their routine in action, facilities, equipment, maintenance, and operations. What we went into was to kind of how we're going to fund these things. And if you look at it, at the end of 18, we ended with $21.3 million in our unassigned fund balance, which is our general. And the proposed amendments that we'll be bringing to you are 1.15, and we still end with more of a positive on it. So it was kind of the extra money that we came in through that, so we used it to put it back into our infrastructure maintenance operations. What we looked at was putting in facilities, simple things, elevator repair, fire state recruitment, fire state re-roofing. Priorities would be the fuel system upgrades, the irrigation system upgrades, and then the equipment would be ambulances and the fire truck. We are doing some downtown monitoring systems for the downtown cameras, fire department gear, and transparency and paperless systems. Again, these are routine maintenance operations that we felt, the departments felt, they brought it back and said this is something, items that we should start going into. So those are just the items, but the more importantly would be Secondary was the recommended allocation for 2.25 of the Oco Union, kind of with the interest that was sold on we had with PUB. That was a coal company that we had the union. So we had a 2.25, which is designated to use maybe a one-time cost. What can we get going? And I think, as Noel mentioned, they stole our thunder, is we looked at traffic synchronization, city growth planning, and marketing as a priorities that we think that the city can come into. So the first one would be our traffic signal improvement. We talked about traffic. So where do we put money into one-time thing? What we looked at was demographics and traffic is population Brownsville, total miles, paved road, traffic signals. And we identified that we had some equipment that did not have the concerns where it was fast, the synchronization concerns, they weren't talking to each other. Some things were still in the old timer system. So we're like, okay, what can we put money to? So we thought, let's put it into our infrastructure. And so again, the master plan behind it was, let's put it into our infrastructure, even though there was other items we can go into, the comprehensive study plan, the innovative idea exploration, the modernization. We said, do we want to get our bang for a buck right away? And we thought, let's go look for corridor timing improvement plan. And so the proposed scope was, we want to update our current equipment, we want to improve on our existing technology, and we want to expand our existing infrastructure. And then integrate our stormwater. Again, everything has to do about stormwater items behind it. So we looked at it. The first money we're going to use is GPS connection. We have some timers that are still out there traffic-wise that do not speak with other traffic, and that's where you come up with the synchronization. We only find out about it when it does not work. And people are saying, okay, why am I getting traffic? I mean, I know Commissioner Munguia says, look at Naranjo Road, right? That's the one that we find out, and we find out that the timer maybe is not talking to it. So the first item is $375,000 will be used just to replace that equipment itself, synchronization. No matter what plan you have, if you don't have the items to work, the plan doesn't work. The second thing we looked at was go fiber, because we want to look at the future of it. We just don't want to talk about the timer. So we go into the fiber, and the approach is this is a $1.2 million, and that's to make the whole city fiber connected. But again, the projects take time, so we're going to focus on your major arterials. Those will be fiber connected, which will make synchronization, and they all talk to each other. We did see TxDOT did present about theirs. Our systems do talk to each other, so we want to continue moving forward. So that will be the one-time cost on getting the networks fiber. The goal is we will all be fully fibered out through all of it. What I want to show out is our existing fiber. We're pretty good. I mean, we're not too bad on existing fiber with the blue, but we want to reach out with the red. It expands out. The idea is to put for the future one-time costs. So that is what we do on infrastructure. We want to talk about infrastructure for traffic synchronization because that's your one-time cost we want to go into. The second component of that funding, we want to talk into strategic growth planning. We've had conversations with you, I know the city manager has. We're trying to figure out how do we look at economic analysis? How do we look at financial modeling? How do we look at our land use, our zonings, our update for development? That's what we've talked about. So we want to put some of that money into that strategic growth planning. Second item is marketing. Brownsville, while we're working on a marketing plan, more of a vision for City of Brownsville, Brownsville does have its characteristics, and that's where you saw Texas Monthly Live event. We are putting financial money into that to help promote that, help sell it, so it's a really good item for us. And then also the airport. Airport happens to be the biggest project we have right now at this time to go sell it. It's kind of the new thing out there we're trying to look for. So we continue on the marketing item behind it. In ending, we want to show that the monies at the very beginning, 82% went into infrastructure. It went into traffic signals, traffic lights, traffic items, but we don't want to forget strategy. I think a lot of times we do put money into the infrastructure, but we don't do the strategy behind it. So as you see here, we put strategy into that financials with the goal that if you continue this way, it will be healthy and sustainable. If you do the smart growth and you keep it going and you got it going, that if you do strategy behind it, you will see this for the future in the millions. That's the ultimate goal. So we want to start out to equal do smart growth. And then finally, we do have the City Manager's Youth Fund. We think the best approach is we are going to start opening the Stegman Building, the performing arts, to allocate some of that money to the performing arts so we can do for programming, for equipment, for items behind it, and then reallocate the other $122,000 for professional development. It goes into invest in our staff, invest in the structure, invest to our tools. So I would ask if there's any questions on that, I'm willing to answer any.
One of the things, it's kind of off topic, but seeing that you brought up the Performing Arts Center,
Yes.
I think it would be really cool if we could name one of the music rooms after Jimmy Gonzalez.
That would be an option. And Marina's right here, back there. She can work on that as well.
That was another yes, right?
That'd be great, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, I think it's very well done, guys. Keep up the good work. It's, well, good planning.
Yes.
Anyway, this is an action item. All those in.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item number 22.
Next, we have action item number 22, consideration and action to authorize the placing of an order for the purchase of 5 35-feet hybrid diesel buses under the already established pricing agreement with Gilling LLC in the amount of $3,485,090.03, funded by the Tiger Grant.
You're back.
Yes. Good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. I'm glad to be here this evening presenting on the Connecting Community Tigers project. Back on December 12, 2017, the City Commission unanimously approved the contract award to Gillick LLC for the acquisition of up to 15 buses. The contract included pricing for 35 hybrid diesel low-floor transit buses. We're excited to have this item on the agenda. It would be the first bus of its kind in the Lower Rio Grande Valley. I'd like to highlight some features of the clean air technology hybrid bus offers. How does the hybrid bus work? Diesel electric hybrid buses use both electricity and diesel, the same concept as a hybrid automobile. The bus battery stores energy and recharges when the bus decelerates. When demand for power exceeds battery capacity, the diesel engine provides extra energy. The stored electricity is used for a cleaner and smoother propulsion. A computer controls the output of the two power sources, diesel and electricity, so the buses always use the most efficient source. Saves energy, uses approximately 25% less fuel than diesel buses, allows for the use of electric components that reduce fuel consumption, reduces emissions, 90% cleaner than the 14-year-old buses that they will be replacing. It reduces operating costs. Hybrids help reduce fuel expenses, and hybrids help reduce the frequency of brake changes. Other components will include upgraded fare box collection system, a public information system, two-way radios, surveillance camera. Brownsville Metro requests your authorization to place an order of 5 35-foot hybrid diesel buses under an already established pricing agreement with Gillick LLC in the amount of $3,485,090.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. I'm
Motion carries.
so excited to be part of the electric revolution now with our Brownsville Metro. This is amazing.
We're looking forward to it. We're excited ourselves too. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.